Ever had the unsettling feeling that someone was hiding the truth from you? A subtle tension in their words, a glance that lingered a second too long, a pause that stretched just enough to make you wonder if their story was real. We move through our days believing that honesty is the foundation of human connection. Yet behind the smiles and polite exchanges, lies slip into conversations more often than we might dare to admit. Studies reveal that on average, a person lies at least once a day, sometimes to protect others, sometimes to avoid uncomfortable consequences, and sometimes to twist reality in their favor. What makes this so disturbing is that deception is not reserved for strangers or enemies. It can come from friends, partners, colleagues, even family. The ability to detect lies is not a skill of curiosity alone. It is a form of self-defense, a way to guard our trust and preserve our clarity. In a world where appearances can so easily mask intentions, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has used lie detection methods for decades. Their agents have learned to read the smallest cues, to interpret silences as carefully as words, to notice what the body whispers when the mouth tries to deceive. Today, we will break down some of their most effective techniques, not as tools of interrogation alone, but as strategies you can carry into everyday life. Because the truth is not only what people tell you, it is what they cannot hide when they try. Let us begin with the power of questions. A question can be a simple request for information, or it can be a spotlight that leaves no place for shadows. In 2018, researchers studied the effect of different kinds of questions on deception. They found that broad questions like, "Can you tell me how it went last night?" were often too easy to navigate. Such questions gave liars room to dance around the truth, to provide vague answers, to offer fragments that sounded complete but revealed nothing. Even questions with positive assumptions, such as, "You did not get home late, right?" were not much better. They allowed liars to take the easy path, to confirm without revealing. The most effective questions carried a subtle edge. They were open-ended, yet based on negative assumptions. What kept you out so late last night? This type of question pushed the speaker into dangerous territory. If they told the truth, the details would come naturally. If they lied, they would be forced to create details on the spot. And it is in those details where cracks appear. Still, it is important to note that an interrogation tone rarely helps. The best atmosphere for discovering truth is one of calm curiosity. When people feel cornered, they defend. When they feel safe, they reveal. Ask gently, listen carefully, and allow silence to work for you. Another crucial element lies in the first 5 seconds. After you ask a question, what happens in those 5 seconds can be more revealing than the words themselves. Psychologists call this the 5-second rule. Before the brain has time to construct a polished answer, before the rehearsed story can slide into place, the body reacts, a glance away, a hand brushing across the mouth, a contradiction that slips unnoticed. These signals mean little when seen alone, but when two or more appear together within those 5 seconds, they form what experts call a cluster. And clusters tell stories louder than words. Imagine you ask someone where they were last night. They hesitate, touch their face, and look down. 3 signals in under 5 seconds. That is not proof, but it is a strong pulse of probability, a reason to look deeper. Federal Bureau of Investigation agents often begin by establishing a baseline. They ask neutral questions, ones that have no stakes, just to observe natural behavior. How does the person sit? How do they gesture? What tone do they use when relaxed? Because truth hides best in contrast. Once the baseline is clear, the real questions arrive, and any sudden shift becomes a red flag. If someone who normally smiles and meets your eyes suddenly avoids your gaze when the subject turns serious, it may not mean guilt, but it does mean something has changed. Another powerful tool is the double question. Ask about the same event twice, but from slightly different angles. You hit the gym yesterday, right? Later, what workout did you do yesterday? Truth remains steady, lies stumble when asked to repeat, inconsistencies may be subtle. a forgotten detail, a misplaced time. But when the answers do not align, the mask begins to crack. Language itself carries clues. Liars often use uncertain words to soften their statements. I think, maybe, I guess. These words give them room to retreat if challenged. They are linguistic escape hatches, while hesitation can also arise from stress or poor memory. A pattern of vague phrases at key points should make your attention sharpen. Truth rarely hides behind uncertainty. At times, you will notice a sudden attempt to shift topics. When discomfort grows too heavy, a liar may redirect, steering the conversation away before the light grows too bright. Pay attention to these abrupt shifts. They often signal that something important lies in the area they are trying to escape. An advanced technique is the interruption with a context switch. Deception requires mental energy. A liar must invent, track their story, avoid contradictions. When you suddenly ask a side question in the middle of their narrative, their cognitive load increases. What were you doing just before that? The interruption forces them to reorganize. If they falter, contradict themselves, or restart with mismatched details, the signs become clear. Once the interruption ends, invite them back. Go ahead, pick up where you left off. Now watch closely. If the flow of their story breaks, if they scramble to find footing, the lie becomes more visible than ever. There is also the method of planting a false detail. Suppose someone says they went shopping on Tuesday. You reply, but the store was closed that day. If they are telling the truth, they will correct you immediately. If they are lying, they may accept the falsehood, afraid to contradict you, because lies thrive on smooth surfaces. Confrontation is dangerous to a liar, so they prefer to glide along even when the ground is false beneath them. Time consistency is another battlefield. Ask for specifics about when events happened. What time did you leave? What time did you arrive? Liars often lose track of time. Their invented schedules rarely match reality. When the minutes do not add up, when the hours stretch or shrink impossibly, it signals fabrication. At this point, if you are finding value in this deep dive into deception, consider subscribing and activating the notification bell. It truly gives strength to the channel and allows us to continue bringing you powerful insights. And if you are enjoying the content so far, a like on this video makes all the difference. Together, these actions help build a community that thrives on knowledge and awareness. Now let us continue. The most revealing truths often appear not in grand gestures, but in micro-expressions. Those fleeting flashes across the face that lasts less than half a second, a curl of the lip, a sudden narrowing of the eyes. The micro-expression vanishes almost before you can register it, but it betrays the emotion beneath the words: fear, contempt, disgust. You cannot always control the muscles of the face in such brief instants, and that is why professionals rely on them so deeply. Imagine a friend insists they are happy for your success, yet for the smallest instant, their mouth twists in disdain. That micro-expression may reveal more than their entire speech. Learning to observe these flashes can give you a sharper lens on human honesty. Another key factor is voice. Stress alters the body. It can raise pitch, accelerate pace, or produce sudden pauses. When a person answers comfortably to neutral questions, but their voice tightens under sensitive ones, take notice. It may not be proof of deception, but it is proof of pressure, and pressure often points to hidden truths. Even posture speaks. When people lie, they often shift, cross their arms, pull away, or lean forward unnaturally. Defensiveness seeps into their body without them realizing. Where truth is relaxed, lies are tense. Learning to notice these subtle contrasts sharpens your perception. Still, the most important element is not any single signal, it is the convergence. One hesitation may mean nothing. One glance away may be coincidence. But when multiple signals rise together, when hesitation, defensiveness, and vagueness appear in the same moment, the probability of deception rises significantly. Trust your intuition. The human brain evolved to detect dishonesty long before science put words to the process. That gut feeling, that whisper inside that something is wrong. It is not to be ignored. Your subconscious has noticed patterns faster than your conscious mind can explain. But let us not forget, not all lies are malicious. Some are born of fear, some of protection, some of shame. Understanding this allows us to approach deception with wisdom, to see not only the act but the reason behind it. Consider the colleague who lies about finishing a task on time. Perhaps they fear punishment, perhaps they seek to avoid embarrassment, or consider the partner who says they are fine when they are not. The lie may come from a desire not to burden you. In these moments, lie detection is not only about catching, it is about understanding, and yet there are darker lies, ones woven to manipulate, to control, to exploit. In those cases, the ability to detect deception is not simply useful, it is vital, because the cost of believing such lies can be devastating. The techniques we explored today, from asking the right questions to observing clusters of signals, from testing time consistency to spotting micro-expressions. These are not tricks, they are shields. They are ways to walk through the world with eyes more open to hear not only the words, but the silence around them. As you move forward, remember that truth and deception are intertwined in human nature. No one is entirely free of lies, but by sharpening your perception, you can protect your trust, strengthen your relationships, and navigate conversations with a clarity that others may never know. So the next time someone tells you a story that feels just a little off, listen to the pauses, watch the eyes, notice the small betrayals of body and voice, and trust that your awareness is your greatest defense. In the end, detecting lies is not about confrontation. It is about connection. It is about knowing who deserves your trust and who does not. Because when you see through deception, you do not just protect yourself from harm, you step closer to a life built on truth. And perhaps that is the greatest revelation of all, that behind every mask of dishonesty lies a chance to see the raw essence of human fear, desire, and intent. And by learning to read these hidden signals, you do not simply expose the lie, you uncover the person beneath it. So stay curious, stay aware, and remember that in a world of shifting words and fragile masks, the ability to see clearly may be the most powerful skill you will ever hold.